Hello twin flames, welcome to my channel and welcome to daily energy check. Let's get started right away. Today we're going to do a regular spread. It's going to be a daily reading, and for the oracle message that I always start with, we'll get the archetypes deck. It's also the one that I haven't used in quite some time, but it's such a powerful deck, so let's see what comes up, especially since we're now astronomically, first of all, we've done the cleansing and the closures with the full moon. We're now in the new north node, south node dimension, if you wish. And also we have a whole parade of planets. I forgot what it's called, but it's like a lot of them are of major planets just like lined up, and there's going to be one more planet, like Mercury, that's going to be joining them pretty soon in January, right? So it's definitely the time when we are reconsidering a lot of things in life, what we do, why we do it. So today I was guided to give us a little bit of that archetype insight. Feminines, you have the crone, number 13. Let me see what you have in the guidebook. I mean, 13 is usually the number of transformation. The crone can actually symbolize that. The witch, the old woman, the sage. The crone has seen it all. Nothing frightens or surprises her. She is the final manifestation in the feminine trifecta of maiden, mother, crone. In her long life, she's witnessed endless cycles of death, sex, failure, rebirth, conflict, and regeneration, giving her the ability to rise above the world of duality. She laughs at notions of good and bad, right or wrong, as she has seen the earth churning, smoldering, taking life and giving life. The crone energy accepts everything in, devouring beauty and suffering with the same mouth, using their energy to reveal hidden secrets and knowledge. Her energy resides in all of us, though it is feared by most for its power and unconditional relationship with death and the macabre. Awakening the crone is dangerously rich and apologetically magic. So are you ready to accept and embrace your witchcraft, divine feminines? Or are you still intimidated by certain aspects of it? Or it could be represented through other feminines in your life, where you're like, okay, I've seen it gone bad, or I've seen it gone too far. Do you have anything like that, stopping you from embracing your own power or speaking about your gifts even? Are there any experiences like hearing voices or very vivid dreams from a different realm that you are really afraid to share with anyone because you feel like you're going to be judged for that? Or, you can see how you're quickly manifesting things in your life, right? And you don't think that people understand if you just start saying, I did it with my energy. That was me, yes. And for the masculines, we have number 32, the cave. I think we already had the cave for the masculines. Maybe not the last time I used this book, but not too far ago. And so the number for the feminine was 13, which comes down to 4. And this one is 32, which comes down to 5. It's also interesting to know. Okay, 32, the cave. The dark, the portal, the interior. Those who are fortunate enough to find and enter the cave are forever changed. It is a place of potent power, acting both as portal to another realm and a space for sacred ritual and initiation. The cave is a place to return for meaningful retreat, where one can see the true self in the darkness. In esoteric teachings, the cave is known to reside in the center of the heart. Within its walls and whispers of compassion and self-understanding can be heard. Yet, because of its mystery and power, many of us fear the cave and never try to find it. We busy ourselves in the bright lights of the city, while the cavernous and dimly lit chamber calls out to us in the night. Where is your cave? You already know. Return to it and tend to the fire. So to me, there's actually a certain synchronicity between the two, right? This is like embrace and almost like the secret power that you may or may not be able to share with the world, or feel ready, or you know, might even feel some kind of shame on some level, right? For the masculines, we see the cave, which is the interior. It's also, it symbolizes, you know, what we keep to ourselves, right? Like in the dark, in the cave. And it has both our gifts, and it also has our deepest fears and insecurities, right? Skeletons in the closet, even, if you wish, right? And it can be intimidating to even go there or to stay there for too long. But it's necessary because it is who you are. And it's important to accept, the sooner the better, full you, you know, the whole you. And, you know, how special you are. And also how vulnerable you are. Why not? For the masculines, that could be intimidating, especially if we're talking about divine masculines who are light workers, who have their psychic gifts and skills, you know, who are teachers, who are healers, and that may not fit into the template of the masculine figure that we're used to in society, right? So that could be intimidating on its own. Right? Like, how do I even talk to my buddies about this? Like, they're all gonna make fun of me. Something along those lines. Okay, let's move to tarot. I've got the Light Seers Tarot with me today. And I was actually chuckling a little as I was doing pre-shuffle, because in both decks, on the, you know, in the bottom of the deck, I had the Knight of Cups. Love is coming in after we cleanse feelings and experiences that do not serve us anymore, that we've learned from, and we're ready to let go of. Once we let go of those, we are showing up in the universe in a renewed space with the renewed energy, and that's when that love can come in. That Knight of Cups can come in. And by the way, speaking for both feminine and masculine, and those decks, you know, the bottom cards were for both. So now we have Five of Cups. So what are you regretting? What are you still sad about? What do you want to come back to your life? Or who do you want to come back to your life? And you're thinking, well, maybe that can still work out. It wasn't all bad, you know. Not what I can say to someone who's thinking that, because clearly someone is thinking that. Look at that, for once. There we go. There we go. You know, it all depends on how you see things. But what I'm gonna say about anything that's, or anyone actually, that you know, hurt you, or somehow you were just not aligned. If the relationship was karmic, but you're still reminiscing about the good times, it doesn't mean anything, really. I mean, it does mean something, and you can cherish those times for sure. Use your discernment on that, but it's not a good enough reason to bring back the person from the past, or, you know, to ask them to come back just because of those cases. And I can tell you more because I've done my fair share of research around toxic people and narcissists, actually. Like, even when it's a diagnosable level or, you know, extent of narcissism, those people do not always do the wrong thing. They do not always pour their anger and abuse and, you know, BS on you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be hooked to those people. There wouldn't be trauma bonding. The trauma bonding, which is what the narcissists really want, or, you know, psychopaths or people on that side of the spectrum, what they want is to hook you up, like to a drug, so you can get out, right? That's essentially the goal here, conscious or subconscious, but that's what it is. And they know that, you know, they can do that if they always dump their BS on you. Right? They need to show up in good energy as well. And of course, it's pure manipulation from a person on that range, right? But it doesn't mean that it can happen to people who are, you know, somewhere in the middle of that spectrum, right? we tend to manipulate the situation around us because that's part of our inherent wish to be liked, to belong, for people to accept us, to show us love, to be part of the group, all of those things. And the more conscious we become, hopefully, the less we do of that, right? So we can show up in our authentic nature. But because of a lot of stuff that's going on in our childhood, we're one way or the other taught to believe that you need to be a certain way to be liked, for people to want to hang out with you or to want to be in a relationship with you. And that's what we do. And it's just narcissists, they take it to a completely new level, right? That's like mastery level 100, and how much forward they take the manipulation and the toxicity, and they hook their victims that way. And that's what they use essentially, you know, and that's why it's so hard to get out. I mean, of course, like as the time passes by, if it's a long-term relationship, there will be a lot less of the good stuff happening, and there's gonna be a lot more of those periods of the, you know, the darkness and the bad behavior gonna be much longer than the periods of the good behavior, but it'll still be there, right? And they will play with it. They will put it in front of you, in your face, and they'll be saying, but you remember that time, and you remember this, and you remember when we went away over there, and you remember that gift I got you. How can you say that I don't love you, or, you know, that our relationship isn't special, or something of that sort? So do a little check-in with yourself. If you are feeling sorry or you're too nostalgic for those past times and you want to bring back the person, because they weren't all that bad, right? It's a really dangerous path, I would say, to be thinking that way. Sorry, it looks like it's going to be another long reading today. Feminines, your energy is Ace of Wands clarified by Four of Pentacles. To me, that's very much what we talked about in the crone, right? Are you holding yourself back because your fire is, you know, so bright that it actually scares you? Or maybe it actually scares people around you and they start acting out. That's, by the way, that's a real thing. That people even feel intimidated by the energy, and it may show up as bad behavior on their side. They may be sabotaging the situation or trying to turn it around on you, you know, to gaslight you at some level even, right? Know that that fire is in you for a reason. And then if it brings out fears in people, that's also there for a reason. It's part of their healing process. I had to accept that in my own life quite a few years back when, and I'm not, like, I'm one of those people who don't like conflict, right? And imagine if I'm approaching someone where I have no wish and like there's no context for the conflict. And then suddenly people start picking a fight with like such little things. Or they're already ticked off, and like no matter like how neutral you are, they're still gonna be at you, at your throat basically. But I had to, and I mean, I could see that it's not really me, but it took me some time to realize that partly my energy could be responsible because it's so strong that it actually, the light is so strong that it's blinding to some people and they become uncomfortable, you know, because of the contrast that they have, or because of the dark stuff that's coming up for them, right? And maybe they're just kind of like shoving it down. But when I show up, they can't do that anymore, and it just starts coming out. But it's not the reason to hold yourself back or to pretend like you don't have that gift, or, you know, you don't want to deal with it. Masculines. Not too far away from that, the self-sabotaging card of Eight of Swords was Ace of Pentacles. Masculines actually have an opportunity either already in their life or coming into their life that's very forward-looking, you know, that can actually help you a lot with your spiritual journey and with discovering how to use your gifts to help people, which is the I wouldn't say the most difficult part, but it's a tricky part, right? But there is self-sabotaging thought, right, where it will require you to go to the cave, divine masculines, and face your fears and face those stories that live in your head that, you know, your parents, your siblings, your teachers, friends have been telling you, where, you know, oh, this world is messed up, or, you know, you can't really make a living by doing XYZ, or something of that sort. Fill in the blanks. That's stopping you, and that needs to change. It's in your head. Additional question for today. Five of Wands clarified by Knight of Cups. See, Knight of Cups came out. How do the stories that people around us tell us about our life preventing us from real love coming in? For feminines, we see the Hermit and Eight of Swords. So there is already a synchronicity with the Eight of Swords. Yeah, for the feminines, the story that we're not like everybody else, that we are too different, we're too weird, right? And again, you can develop the story depending on what your version of it was, right? Like, you'll never get married if you do all day long, right? Or even as an adult, you know, like maybe you do a lot of meditation, maybe you do a lot of energy healing, and a lot of people don't understand that. To them, it's just a bunch of nonsense, and they're like, what do you do in life? And you want to attract a masculine to that, you know, like really? Like they aren't gonna understand it either, you know. They want somebody who will be like a lover, mother, cook their meal and clean after them. You know, there is some kind of limiting belief that is behind the story and why it's so damaging to you and your mindset. So dig a little deeper there, divine feminines, right, and see where it is. First of all, just on top of my head, the fact that you're doing energy healing work doesn't mean that you won't be taking care of your divine masculine, of your children, or, you know, in kind of the household or anything like that. We still live in 3D reality. We still do those things. We, you know, we eat, we need a bed to sleep in, we like things to be, you know, to look good around us, right? We like to take care of our space. Like, that's still gonna happen. But I would say more that if the DM you're considering, or maybe just like even in general, if it's a DM who is too intimidated by this, then to me that's like a clear signal that that's not for you. And I had to make peace for myself that it doesn't mean that the person is necessarily up in there with me doing it, right? Like we are used to thinking that, you know, the twin flame is supposed to be doing this work with you. Not necessarily. They may be doing it in a different way, and there could be years before you guys figure out what is your common piece of light work that you're supposed to do together. And that's fine, right? It's even fine if you're with a soulmate and they don't even have that inclination as such, but they should at least have respect for what you do and see you there and meet you there. If they're not accepting that, then it's like a non, you know, what's it called? Not, I wouldn't say non-contract, but I was looking for another word. You know, it's like non-deal. It's like the deal is not going to be signed. It's just, you just can't agree on this. You're not aligned. So there's nothing to worry about there. You know, just like, thank you, next. Masculines. You have Six of Cups clarified by Knight of Wands. So for masculines, it's the story that they saw in the childhood of what their relationships were like. And here there could be different variations of these scenarios. Like if you had you know, a relatively happy family, your parents were happy, it's almost like you saw that how rare it was because other kids didn't have that and had all kinds of BS going on at home, and you're afraid that, you know, you're holding yourself to such a big standard, such a high standard, and it's gonna be really, really hard to reach that. Or if things were messed up in the family, then it's like this subconscious program is playing that, you know, when I get together with a person, it's only gonna create more problems, drama, and I always be having like to defend myself, right, and to fight for my passions, my needs, and etc., right? So maybe I just don't want that. And that's stopping DMs from expressing their love and moving forward with it. How are the feminines seeing the connection at this time? Eight of Wands clarified by Seven of Swords. Yeah, so they understand that they're missing some information, right? Like, how do I say this? There's part of the story that the feminines don't know about what's going on with DMs right now, right? And it's important, again, to accept this, right? That I shouldn't be too quick to judge because there's just some stuff that I don't know about, or I don't know why this person had to go through all this tough stuff actually that they're going through. Like there's something very much of a deceit or secrecy, like in a bad way, you know, some kind of sneaking around, something like that happening, right? And if you don't know exactly, then you can feel it. But feminines, please show, you know, compassion and grace to the DMs and leave them in that, because that's what they need to figure out for themselves. Even if you feel like you know what's going on and they don't, and you want to help them and you want to save them, that's not the way to do it. For masculines, wow, we have the Justice clarified by High Priestess. Masculines finally believe that, you know, have a very strong belief that this connection is destined, that it's blessed, that it's like, you know, this is just what's supposed to be happening. Like this is, and they see their feminine in their beauty. They actually see their feminine in the beauty of that witchcraft, of that crone person, because that's what it is really. In tarot it can be a Queen of Wands, but the High Priestess also symbolizes that energy, you know, of like a wise woman that has that deep knowledge, that sees beyond the exterior, that works with energies, that can, you know, manifest for entire communities, right? And it used to intimidate divine masculines, and we've seen that for a while, and now they actually see the beauty in it, how powerful it is, and it's almost like wow, and if I'm with this person, I'm so lucky to be with them, you know. This is like the best confirmation from the universe that, you know, I'm a deserving person, that I'm a good person, and all those things. So yeah, the masculines are actually very excited. And even for those who are still in early stages and they don't see necessarily feminine as the one and only as a life partner, maybe it's friendship, but they're still lucky to have divine feminine in their life. That's the message in a nutshell. Okay, I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I love you all, and I'll be back with more readings very, very soon. Don't forget to like it and to subscribe to my channel if you are new. And until next time.